play yet, so we snuck it in, hadn't even worked on it. Looked pretty good, didn't it, Bob? What do you think? Yeah, Cody, one of our walk-on receivers, coached him up right there quickly, and Dylan slammed it down there. Unfortunately, it didn't lead to a score, but that's okay. That's okay. We hit the off-the-bench play, but it was a good spring game in the fact no one got hurt. We've had some cracked ankles and legs, seems like, in this game for some reason, but everybody got through, I think, unscathed. Connor Shaw had some cramps and dehydration, I think. But other than that, it was a pretty good game. Our quarterbacks have got a lot to learn. They're not there yet, but we think they can get there. Connor needs to have a wonderful summer, and if he is our quarterback. Stephen Garcia, his fate will not be determined probably anytime soon. We'll see how all that plays out here in the next maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I'm not sure. But anyway, it was a good game. The guys gave excellent effort, I thought, without hurting each other, which is something we always try to do in the scrimmage. So we'll have 2 more practices this next week, and then we will be ready for a break there in May. Make sure our players are doing well in their final exams and go from there. Okay, any questions? Okay, Scott.
D'Angelo Smith had a very good spring and had a great game today. Talk about his progress.
Well, you notice he got player of the spring on offense and DJ Swearinger on defense. Every scrimmage, he has made at least one big play. He has really developed into an outstanding receiver, as you can see out there today. Came from a high school that does not throw the ball. I think he caught 10 passes his senior year. But Steve Jr., who recruits at Kingsland, Georgia area, just watched him run, watched him compete, watched him block, watched him play football, and we took a shot at him, and he's really come around. He can, all 3 of them, he had to jump over a guy. Seemed like our balls were a little late getting there most of the day, and a lot of balls were off target most of the day. But other than that, D.D. Smith has really been the surprise player of the spring. So now Alshon, D.D., D.L. Moore, Jason Barnes did some good things today. Ace Sanders, we feel pretty good about the receiving corps.
Coach, talk a little bit about Connor's performance today. What was good, what wasn't good?
Connor had some errant plays. First drive or so, we got down there, and we had some mistakes right around the 10-yard line, and he left the play on. Our ace was supposed to actually shift from one side to the other. He went ahead and snapped the ball. So Connor just wasn't thinking there real quick, but that's good for him. He needs to just play, and learn. Got to have a plan. Got to have a plan for every play, and then try to execute it. But he's had a good spring, and as you can see, when he takes his steps and throws it on time, he can zip it in there. He can make all the throws. We just have a tough time of our quarterbacks getting it out of their hands. They still want to hold it too long a lot of times out there today.
Coach Spurrier, if I can ask you a question just about the spring game itself and its growth since you've been here. It's kind of a yardstick on how people are excited about the program. Were you pleased with the turnout today and how passionate people are?
Well, I thought it was an excellent turnout. It's about like we usually have. Yeah, our fans love football here. There's never been any question of that. And fortunately, like I mentioned at halftime, we're 12-2 here the last 2 years. I think it's the best in school history. And our team feels very comfortable playing at home and playing in front of the home crowd. So we want them to know they're a big part of whatever success we have, and certainly we're shooting for more success than just the Eastern Division in the next several years, and our fans are a big part of it. So we appreciate them coming out, and that's what's important for quarterbacks. Connor Shaw playing in front of a bunch of people, and our kickers. First guy missed one, he hadn't missed one all spring, hardly, I don't think. Adam Yates, he shoved her to the right, and nobody was rushing. So these are things you have to do in preparation for the real game. But Adam's had a good spring. Maybe that was just his one bad one.
Steve, with Stephen's status still uncertain, how valuable is a day like today in terms of assessing all your other quarterbacks?
Well, it was good for Connor to get a bunch of snaps there until he got cramps or sort of a heat dehydration, something like that. So he was finished at halftime. So, and he's in good shape. So I don't know if he had enough Gatorade in him or what. But yeah, he needs to just take snap after snap after snap, and we're going to do that next week. We've got 2 practices available, and so we're going to use them and just let him take his drops and throw. Now, Connor, why'd you do that? Look over here, and to see if he can, learn from decision making. That's why we practice so much. That's why quarterbacks they got to throw all summer and throw to receivers and know where all the receivers are and know where the defensive guys are, and our guys are just not quite there yet.
Coach, there's 2 reports out. One says that Stephen and some in his camp maybe have discussed possibly him transferring. And
Let me just say this. Best thing for Stephen is he needs to graduate. He can graduate. He can graduate in this May. If he passes everything he's got, he can graduate. That's what he needs to do. He needs to graduate and keep all his options open and go from there.
And then there was another report that maybe he sought some help for maybe
Well, I can't get into all his personal issues, but we're hoping Stephen is right back here on campus Monday, going to class and finishing up, and we'll all look at it as we go here next week or 2, 3.
Questions for Coach?
After Marcus, how do you feel about your depth at running back?
Oh,
right
we're in
now?
good shape. Kenny Miles, excellent back. Kenny's always averaged about over 5 a carry, and I think he did again there today. And of course, Eric Baker. Eric was hurt last year. His knee's 100%. So we're in good shape there. And little Josh Hinch, number 17. I'm gonna tell you what, he's a good little football player. That number 17, he caught. How many passes he catch, Steve? You know, 7 or 8. And we kept dumping off, and finding him. And he's a kid. Coach Graham really loves him because he's from Knoxville, Tennessee. Did you know that, Scott?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So Coach Graham, of course, went to UT. But yeah, he's a valuable walk-on. He's a kid that could probably start at a lot of small colleges, but he wanted to come to South Carolina. Josh Hinch.
Sure did.
I wanted to ask you about you're being honored today in Gainesville. Your thoughts about being honored today?
My daughter Amy was representing me down in Gainesville, and I sent a video message saying thanks. For y'all that didn't know, they did statues of the 3 Heisman players at Florida, and they did the unveiling today, but we did our own unveiling today, and it was nice to have some type of championship sign on our wall along with the 69 ACC champs. But it was a nice honor down there, and my daughter Amy was down there to represent me.
Coach, how do you feel about where the offensive line is now compared to maybe where they were this time last spring?
I think they're okay. I think we're going. Coach Elliott says we're going to be just as good. He thinks maybe a little better. Who knows? I've never heard a coach say I think we'll be worse there next year. But we really like these guys. Cody Gibson has come a long way. Most improved offensive lineman of the spring. Last year at this time, he couldn't block hardly anybody, and he's pretty solid in there right now, as is a lot of these players. And I think they got a pretty good attitude in there. T.J. Johnson and T.C. Campbell, those 2 guys are probably the leaders. Rokevius Watkins. Rokevius has been around a bit now. So we've got a few more bodies to play with that we think can play.
Anything else?
Nothing else? All right. Got a stat sheet yet?
Yeah.